Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Suzuka is a mighty host for any series that visits in motorsport, but with Japan's premier single-seater class visiting tonight for the Apex Racing Academy Super Formula, it is especially fantastic to have this car track combination. Welcome to Apex Racing TV. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick, alongside me is Avery McDonald-Samuli Kume, bringing you this stream on our YouTube channel. And Avery, this is the one at the start of the season that I was most looking forward to. I love this circuit so much, and it is brilliant to have these Super Formula cars back on a circuit like we had at Motegi earlier on this season, being a circuit that they visit in real life.
Yeah, when it comes to the Super Formula cars, Sam, like you said, Suzuka is the track that you want to win at. There's a big thing to win here at Suzuka with any car, but especially with that Super Formula car being the home track for the series. And, we've had 3 great rounds so far, Sam, and we're going to go on to round number 4, and I'm expecting another fantastic race.
Yeah, we've had some pretty epic ones. Aragon was a tricky one last time out, so I think this Suzuka circuit will be a bit more familiar to all these drivers. Let's have a look at the championship standings at the moment. First in the pros, Lennart Schnabel with a first, second and third so far this season. He was fantastic at Aragon and has got quite a healthy gap now.
Yeah, really good run last week, just maintained a great pace, but, it's still early in the season. And yeah, he's got a good gap between first and second, but it's still a really tight battle, and he's been really impressive. But the whole pro class has been impressive so far. You never know who's going to win these, Sam, because it just comes down to, at the end of the race, who's going to be able to maintain the best pace. So it's anybody's game here at Suzuka.
And in the amateurs at the moment, we had a change of championship leader. It's now Cesar Cabral, who's at the top. Gert Spencer, unfortunately, not taking part for the rest of the season, so good opportunity for the likes of Edward Pop, Dean Bayer, and Fabio Grassetto. Grassetto very much has established himself as the fastest of the amateurs, but has not been able to put it on paper so far this season. In the teams championship as well, of course, 2 or 3 drivers for each team. Alcantech NHR looking for another team star, so of course they won in the F3s just a couple of months ago. They're ahead of Core Sim Racing. But at the moment, we have got the first half of times so far set. The top 8 have all set times. And we've currently got Alzuguri, Aberdeen, Platt and Mola out on circuit for their section of qualifying.
Yeah, and Cabral in the 3rd spot, he was in the top 5 in practice, so expect him to have a lot of pace in the race. But here's Aberdeen, who usually has a good lap for qualifying. We'll see what he's going to be able to run as he just starts his lap. Cold tires, so you got to be really cautious on your qualifier lap. The driver I'm looking for is also on the track right now. That's Dylan Platt. I think he's yet to put on a qualifying lap so far,
I think
Sam.
you might be right.
So let's see if he could get a lap in, because he usually has a lot of pace, and it'd be nice to see what he could do from a qualifying spot.
Through the Essex section, Aberdeen flies, and it's always quite a narrow circuit. It's very old school, and he has to take a couple of jabs at it into Degner 1, Degner 2. So easy to run wide. That curve is vicious on the outside. In the hairpin, often you see a lot of overtakes in real life. You actually don't see many in sim racing, so I don't expect too many attempted maneuvers there. And then, of course, this bit of a nothing right-hander through 200R, and the spoon curve, probably the most tricky corner because of this curb on the outside of the track.
Yeah, I think this is the most important corner of the track, because if you mess this one up, you have a long straightaway as you go into here. Be turn 15, the little left-hander. So I think that's the most important corner on the track is spoon curve. So we'll see if you. I don't think it's a good spot to maybe take an overtake, because if it can slow you down and have a slow straight, but you need to hit that corner every time. Perfect.
Aberdeen, he's had decent qualifying so far, usually lines up on the 3rd or 4th row of the grid. He'll be hoping to get in amongst the likes of Cezanne and Vea. Mola goes up to 5th and Aberdeen goes to top, 10th to a second clear. Doubt that'll be quite good enough for pole position, but front row maybe. I think second row certainly looking good. Jose Alzagai, watch out for him. He could be very, very quick, and he does go top, but only just 200ths of a second separating the two of them. And our next group, which will be group 4, the penultimate group at least. So this is the second to last one. Winkler, Schnabel, Alarcon, and Palic. But nice time there from the Spaniard.
Yeah, great time. And I want to give a shout out to Dylan Platt, so far in 5th. Put a really good time. It's going to be his best starting spot of the race. Of the season, excuse me. So he'll probably be up in 8th or 9th, depending on what these drivers run. But the 4 drivers are on track. These are the ones, these guys are fast. I think, Schnabel always has some pace. As you see on your screen, they're just warming up the tires, because you only got 1 lap. You can't make a mistake, because if you go off track, you're starting in the back.
I did say before this is the second to last group. I was wrong. This is the last group. My apologies. There's just a bunch of trusts who have invalidated lap times, and I was thinking they are yet to go. But this is our top 4 in the championship, all going for this final lap. So this is really where the best times should come. But honestly, so far this season, we're seeing a lot of the time drivers ranked lower down in the championship still take the pole position. So don't necessarily bet on Alzugari's time to be beat. Here comes Alarcon, fastest first sector of anyone. It's a very good start for the Spaniard.
Yeah, Alarcon always has speed, and especially when you come to a track like Suzuka, very technical, and it's plays at his strengths. So he's got the purple sector for the first segment of the track, and then obviously his best one of the session, because 1 lap. So I think he needs at least 1 or 2 more purples to start on the P1, or be on the provisional pole until the other drivers get a lap down. So really good lap for him, or start of the lap.
Him and Palic pretty much matching each other through the first 2 sectors. They are up on Alzugari, so this could well be good enough. Schnabel's 3rd sector, little bit slow for Schnabel. It's a short sector, but he lost about a 10th. Only 10 seconds is that sector long. But yeah, he lost about a 10th of a second, so still, this is going to be tight. It's going to be tight. Schnabel and Winkler and Alarcon, all right there. And don't rule out Palic either. He's going to be somewhere in the mix. And yeah, Palic's time is good as well. Anyone could take pole position here, honestly. It's going to be Palic the first. Apologies, Alarcon the first to cross the line. I think this might be good enough. He crosses the line. No, it's only good enough for 4th. He puts it 1/10 of a second behind. Next place is Winkler. He goes to 3rd. Anyone behind? Palic into 6th. Can Winkler go? Apologies, can Schnabel go to the top? No, he can't. They were all about a 10th of a second off. And Jose Alzagari holds on to pole position.
Yeah, great run by Alzagari. The top three are super tight on times, but the whole field is pretty close on times there, Sam. So really good qualifying effort for all the drivers, but especially a big shout to Alzagari for putting on that blistering lap and took down some of the top drivers.
By far our closest qualifying of the season. So far this season, really, the top first down to thirds, most of the time has been separated by about half a second. Nothing like that tonight. This is exceptionally close. And yeah, we could well be in for a tight race as well, hopefully. It delivers for us tonight. Qualifying is ending at the moment and we should be soon into the race. 34 laps, 200 kilometers, should be a slightly quicker race than what we had last time out. This place is so quick, such a high average speed that we should rattle through them in about an hour. But who will come out on top? That is the big question. The grid then for this round, Jose Alzagari looking for that race win. Went terribly wrong for him from pole position last time out. Let's see if he can convert it this time. Aberdeen just 200ths of a second off. Winkler 200ths of a second off. Such a tight top three. Then Schnabel, Cezana, Alicon, Palic, Vea with a really good qualifying. He's top of the AMS in 8th. Then it's Platt, Cabral, Pop, Mola, Kitzelman, Boberg, Walsh, Arroyo, Lafare, Rosenkrantz. Watch out for Rosenkrantz. I'm not sure what happened to Chris there. Must have invalidated his lap time. He's always so quick, Chris, but doesn't always perform. Gossetto is the same vein. He had a qualifying ban tonight. That's why he's so far down. Samuel Marr in 20th, and I think Kevin Swemster, unfortunately, with PC issues, I don't believe he'll take to the grid.
One thing I want to point out, Sam, with this qualifying, how tight it is. This is probably the track that I think it wasn't going to happen at, because how long the track is and how many corners there are. But I mean, I get surprised quite often. So yeah, super tight times, and you know the draft is going to be very important. You can't make a mistake. And the other thing I think we'll see is some really good battling into some of these corners, like especially turn one. I think you can make a really good move because you got, you know, tight corners coming after. But I'm really curious to see how these drivers are going to manage how technical this track is in a pack. So getting ready to go green.
Yeah, should have about another 15 seconds of gridding up. Still got Lofaro Rosenkrantz to get on the grid. It doesn't look like Swim's just going to make it. He was really hoping that he could sort out his issues, but unfortunately I think he's just going to miss it. And Lofaro unfortunately not being able to get to the grid, so that will be it. Alzagari then from the pole position. It's a long run to turn one. The Spaniard on the first spot. And we launch away. It's a fantastic start for him. It's a poor start for Lee Aberdeen. He'll be down to 4th place. There is a collision in the background. Dorian Arroyo already looking to get a faster pair. Lennart Schnabel, though, with a fantastic launch. He's gone from 4th up into 2nd immediately. Just being credited out there was Carl Winkler. He was pushed wide slightly by Marcus Alicon, and he's had to drop back into 5th position because of that. Meanwhile, in the background, the drivers trying to negotiate 2 by 2 up the S's for the first time. Edward Pop with a couple of positions drops so far. It looks like the casualties were Lofaro, Platt, and maybe Arroyo as well.
Yeah, Edward Pop put on a really good run last week, and he's trying to carry that momentum here into the Suzuka. Currently in that 14th spot, 4th in the amateur of the amateur drivers. Here's Chris Rosenkrantz, who has a lot of speed. He's making moves up now. He's already up 6 positions on that start, and he's hungry for some more.
Lots of changes, but fairly small changes, like 1 or 2 places for most of the order. This is one of them. Dean Bay has been able to get ahead of Marco Cezana, who got a very poor start. Cezana, he's now down 3 places. He's one of the big losers out on this opening lap. But Alzagari holding on to the lead. Schnabel up a couple of places. Aberdeen down 1, which frankly was a good job for him considering how poor his start was. However, behind him, Alicon using his attack. That is the flashing green light you can see at the top by the roll hoop, and that has enabled him to move up into 3rd position. So using that boost early on in this race.
Yeah, you have to be very cautious on how you use that boost. You know, being the 4th round, and you know, these drivers are running these cars more now with the, you know, since it came out. So we're getting a really good idea when to have it. Like I've said, this is a good opportunity for turn 1 here. You see Cezana just holding on the outside, and really good racing here, but you got to clear him soon.
And he's just cleared him there, marginally. So Ivana wants to keep up with those top 6 if he possibly can. He has been held up slightly by the amateur driver of Veya, but I think he's now going to have the opportunity to pull away as Lofare. He had a poor qualifying, a poor start, and it looks like a poor race, poor lap 2.
Speaking of a rough race, Dylan Platt down in 18th place. I hate to see it, but here's Kevin Kittleman in that, up in the 10th spot, up 3 spots, throws a lot of pace here.
Oh, there's someone spun. Palach.
Yep,
Palach just gone wide.
Tough track here, Sam. Very technical.
I mean, I am curious as to what has happened here. Well, unless he's hit his teammate. He's got spooked by his own teammate here. No, he's just locked the rears. And for once, that was a good decision to not hold the brakes, because it nicely rolled him offline.
Yeah, kind of car was a little wonky there. So here's Aberdeen up into 4th. He's down a couple spots, but trying to hold off Carl Winkler. You know, Carl's been putting on some really good speed as of late, so we'll see if he can catch back up to maybe where he started. He started in the 3rd position, but I think the big thing now is just try to stay in the line and try to catch up to that top 3.
Aberdeen's pace really has disappeared. On that last lap, he was 0.6 of a second slower than the race leaders. That fantastic qualifying lap that he set isn't being delivered in the race so far. He has been a step behind his teammate Schnabel so far this season, so it was a very good achievement for him to out-qualify the German. But in the race, doesn't seem like he quite has it to back up, but might just be these early stages that he is struggling. We're riding on board with Chris Rosenkrantz. He's up 9 places from his race start. He's only 6 seconds off the lead, which is pretty good considering that he started pretty much from the back, but now he's losing more time having to overtake these drivers. Next up for him is Cesar Cabral. Cabral's a smart driver. Well, we'll be able to assess that soon, whether or not he defends. I thought he might be deviating slightly to the left there, but he does let him go, and Rosenkrantz is up to P8.
Yeah, I've been keeping a close eye on Rosenkrantz, and he's just been putting on a blistering pace, but who's putting on a real good pace here? That's El Zagari. He's still up in the lead. He's trying to pull away, but your fastest driver so far is Alicon down in 3rd place. So these 3 cars are in a line. I think they're going to just try to pull away, but because Aberdeen just needs to get a little bit closer to Alicon to get into the slipstream. So if these 3 can pull away, they have a good 3-car little path here to try to maintain that gap, because we've seen here, Sam, with these Super Formula cars, once they start battling, those cars behind them are going to start catching up. So we'll see how these guys handle that good pace.
We could get a replay of that race start involving Dorian O'Roy, I believe it was, who was the big loser out, because Edward Pop just making up a place sort of reminded me of that incident that we had earlier on. This was right off the launch for O'Roy. We're riding on board with him. Wasn't a good launch initially. Oh man, he's just spun it by himself. Was that Grassetto that he hit? And Grassetto, I think, had to take repairs because of that. Tricky car to get off the line.
Yeah, very tricky. I was doing a lot of practice here the last week for this telecast, and I tell you what, man, I spun out a lot on the start, so it's possible. I mean, it's just these cars are super tough to get a good launch. And speaking of a good launch, El Zagari has launched his car away from Schnabel and Alicon as they're starting to battle a little bit more, and he really wants to see those cars in his mirror just start going side by side. So El Zagari putting on a really good pace, and he really here comes Schnabel using that the boost to get back up. So that's what's with these cars, Sam. You can fall back a little bit, but you can boost up a little bit closer. So the 3-car pull away is down 2 seconds from 3rd to 4th. Here's back to Moeller, and yeah, there you go. Good battle in here.
Not sure what happened to Palach was the one who spun actually at the hairpin, wasn't it? Yeah, I was thinking it was one of his teammates, but no, it was Palach who spun at the hairpin, so he's up into 11th place now. There's a lot of tight battles. You can see in the background, well, in fact, Palach might go for another move here into first curve. trying to open the door, but it was slammed shut by his fellow countryman, Kevin Kittleman, who remains in P10. Hasn't had a good season so far, as Kittleman looking to return to form, because he is a very experienced driver, former Apex Racing League GT champion back when we used to run the GTEs. That was in the amateur division, I believe. That was also very close between Rickard Boberg and Jay Walsh. I think it may have been Boberg actually getting past Walsh for 14th place.
Yeah, Kevin putting on a really good run today, up 3 spots from where he started. So he's just on a mission right now, just trying to get a good points day, you know, trying to propel himself up into the point standings a little bit, because it's very tough in both of the divisions here to gain points, as everybody's so talented and puts on a good run. So, you know, Kevin Kittleman, very proud of his efforts so far up into the top 10.
As well, he's very tight for P2, and that is the overtake being used by Alacon, and he's now 4 places. An underwhelming qualifying for the driver who actually missed round 1 of the championship, only signed up before round 2. And he knows that he's got a very good chance at the championship. In fact, this is about between the top 2 in the championship, between Alacon and Schnabel. They're going to keep on fighting with one another. Schnabel not using the overtake, and he is just going to wait behind. He was very patient a couple of rounds ago back at Motegi, and he was very patient in the early stages actually last time out at Aragon as well.
Yeah, Schnabel's going to be the same. Smart driver. I tell you one thing I've noticed from him, Sam, that you don't see too often in sim racing. It's something he has very good at. I mean, he knows when he's not the faster driver, and he knows when to try to make the pass. I mean, these guys are points racing too. They're not just trying to get the best. They're not just trying to win every race. They're points racing too. So that's one thing I've seen from him. Super smart driver, because Alacon probably has a little bit more pace, but if you're sitting in third of this 3-car pack, you're not really losing anything at this point of the race.
You'll occasionally see in the background a Sims at eSport livery, and it's a very nice livery as well, of Chris Rosenkrantz. So Rosenkrantz messed up qualifying, and so he's given himself the task to see, but he's given himself a 6-second handicap to the rest of the drivers. He's catching to the leaders. He was half a second faster than the race leader that last time round. This really, anyone out of this top 7 could win this race right now, because Rosenkrantz is catching up. Top 3 pulling away slightly. Still Aberdeen slightly struggling for pace. Cezanne had a poor start. Has recovered most of the positions, but he's back in 6th. Winkler actually had a poor start, so all of these 3 had poor starts, and they haven't really been able to keep touch with the top 3. But I wonder if Aberdeen's actually holding up Winkler and Cezanne right now, and might start holding up Rosenkrantz as well when he catches up.
Now, if you're Rosenkrantz here, Sam, you know you're faster than the 3 cars in front of you. When you catch them, do you come down and pit, because you have that one required pit stop? You could see maybe some pit strategy from him, just because he's got so much pace, but getting around 3 cars is going to be very difficult for him. This 3-car battle you see on your screen, that's who Rosenkrantz is trying to catch up to. So pit strategy is always a thing. We've seen different strategies the last couple of rounds, so we'll just have to wait and see to find out what strategy will happen here. So really good battle here. We got 3 cars for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and 3 cars for 4th, 5th, and 6th in some small little packs. So some really good racing here at Suzuka.
Yeah, anyone who's new to the series, very little tire wear in these machines. They would do the race on a single set of tyres without question, but they are mandated to change tyres during the event. And yeah, so it's you can really pit whenever. Even if you get a meatball on lap 1, you can just go to the end of the race, and it can get you back into contention by the time that the checker flag is waved, as Cezanne sends it on Winkler. Winkler very happy to let that one go, and Cezanne up now into 5th position, and frankly, I would not be surprised if he's passed Aberdeen very soon as well. Top 2 are very close to one another. A little bit of overtake being used by Al-Zugari at the back of that straight, but Alacon looks faster right now, and I feel like he can pretty much choose when to pull the trigger.
Yeah, update from LaFaro, had some force feedback issues with his wheels, so unfortunate to see that. So hopefully he has it fixed by next round. So that's the one thing with sim racing. Anything like that can happen at any moment.
Ooh,
Around goes Alicon.
And he's going to take off Schnabel as well, who I think managed to keep it out of the wall. Schnabel off the circuit. That's our top 2 in the championship. Almost out of the race.
My. Sam, you gotta. It's so tough here. Take a look back at the replay here. Got Alicon and Schnabel.
Ah, that must be on the curb, right? Because he was basically out the corner. You know, he was in the easy part of the corner.
Yeah, now we're looking on board. This will give us a good look. It's like a little twitch on the wheel, and that kind of caused them to spin around. Man, you hate to see it, but you know the good thing though, Sam? No damage.
Yeah, can we see Schnabel's on board as well? Oh, here we go. Samili Kumo is absolutely on this. He wants to see this on board as much as anyone else. This is a brilliant evasive action there from Lennart Schnabel. Really nice work. And he could still win this race. Good news for racing fans, albeit he only gained 1 place out of that. Means that Alicon's down to 7th, Schnabel in 5th. Azugai now has a 2.5 second lead. And Aberdeen's back to where he started, and Cezanne is up into the rostrum places now after dropping as low as, well, he was as low as 8th place on lap 1. And he is 10ths of a second away from 2nd now.
You know who had a pretty big smile on that incident there, Sam?
I think
Alzagari.
Yeah,
he is smiling right now.
I mean, like I was saying before, I thought Alicon was just waiting to overtake him, right? Like, Alicon could have used that overtake button and he would have been passed easy. Not anymore.
Still a long ways to go. You've seen, I mean, Alzagari can make a mistake too. He doesn't make very many, but still, we're only on lap 9 of 34. That mandatory pit stop still has to happen, so I know it's really tough to say, Sam, when what's going to happen here with this pack of cars in the second. Yeah, it's pretty much 5 cars all under a very large blanket, but under some kind of blanket, and you see Rosenkrantz in the back of that field, so he's really making moves, but you got to be perfect. I mean, for him to get up into a podium spot at the moment, because you got to know when to push. When you have four cars in front of you, it's going to be hard to make some passes.
Winkler has been very passive so far in this race. He hasn't gone for any moves, and when drivers have tried to overtake him, he's not put up much of a fight. Looks like that trend is going to continue because a little bit of overtake being used by Schnabel, and he's now moved up into 4th position. Still, Cezanne is not able to get past, but Cezanne wasn't using the overtake on the front straight, so I'm not sure why he's not launching that one yet. Mola, meanwhile, has got past Kitzelman. That's a move for P11. Dean Bear still leading in the amateurs ahead of Palach, Cabral in 10th. Mola recover. No, Mola's sort of started around there. Mola's just getting ahead of Kitzelman. They're fairly evenly matched. And then, yeah, a bunch of amateurs behind. But this is the tightest battle and the most entertaining battle going on outside the circuit.
One thing I want to point out, Sam, in the top 10, everybody but Cezanne had ran their fastest lap of the session. So,
wow.
I mean, so everybody's, you know, running on that razor's edge, maintaining a lot of pace. So whether they be using the boost or just in the slipstream, they're running fast times right now.
So let's see what Cezanne can do this time. He's a little bit far back, and you can see trying to break the draft now is Lee Aberdeen. No attack being used by either. You can see that green light is on, which means that they have got the optional. If it's slow flashing, that means that they don't have any choice. If it's fast flashing, it means that they got it enabled. Who uses it coming out of this corner now? Still, none of them feeling the need.
Yeah, when you're sitting in that, you know, pack of 5 cars and you're not trying to make the overtake, you might as well not use the boost. I mean, you got enough slipstream to pretty much stay up.
But surely, like, if I'm Cezanne looks so quick, right? I'd be spamming that overtake button like anything. and be desperate to get past. But yeah, I think your logic is correct. I think he's just happy to stay in third.
Yeah, you just never know. If you make that overtake, I mean, Aberdeen's right behind you. He can try to pass you too. So, but this 5-car group is trying to catch a little bit of pace on Elzagari. The fastest lap of the day was just set by Schnabel. So, I mean, they are a little bit faster, but just not quite enough. I think you have to make some pit strategy. And if you're someone like Schnabel, maybe you need to get into clean air.
And if they did pit, they've got quite a bit of clean air, because we've had a few retirements so far. Platt, Mar, Lefaro, and Arroyo. Grossetto's a bit detached. He's already taken a pit stop. Walsh is a bit detached. So I think if you pitted now, these guys would come out around, probably a bit behind Ricard Boberg, and a bit behind Edward Pop as well. But there wouldn't be much traffic, so they could pit if they wanted to. Oh, a little bit of very close to contact there for Schnabel. Behind us, Rosenkrantz has just got past Winkler into the Casio triangle, but Schnabel had to have his wits about him in order to not lose his front wing right there.
Yeah, that really hurt him there, just having to get on the brakes a little harder. As you see there, Aberdeen using the boost there on that front straight, trying to, I wouldn't necessarily say pull away from Cezanna, but maybe to get those two cars to pull away with the slipstream.
And the gap to Alzagari is not growing anymore. Aberdeen actually on that last lap was, well, it was a tenth of a second slower, but genuinely it's stayed around 2.6 seconds. And the second sector for Aberdeen is very strong. He's been gaining a couple of tenths there, and that's like that's basically the S's, as far as I'm aware. It's basically just the S's. So through the corners, through the high-speed corners, Aberdeen absolutely sorted. I think it might be maybe down the straights that he's struggling a little bit more than his rivals.
Yeah, need to find a little bit more, just a couple tenths throughout the rest of this track to catch up to Alzagari. 2.6 seconds, you said, is the gap, and it's maintained that for a couple laps. As they're starting to catch, as I start to say that, the gap is starting to shrink just a little bit. Must have had a really bad corner exit for Alzagari.
Here comes the attack from Cezanna. He's on the outside. This would be a monumental move. He keeps the tyre within the white line, and he's going to have the inside line for Casio Triangle. And Marco Cezanna take a bow. Lovely work through 130R. He's kept the overtake on in order to boost his way past Aberdeen, and he's up into second place. What a monumental climb this has been, from dropping down to 8th place on that point.
As you see onboard going into, ooh, he had a little bit of a,
wow,
nice catch.
Some good highlights so far.
That's one of those and then you're good. You know, I've been driving the Super Formula car a lot, and anytime that happens to me, I usually wreck the car. So great job by him. You see another replay. Look at it. A very close moment. But now he's got to pull away. And he has a little bit, by about a second.
Yeah, looking positive. I think that's mainly down to Aberdeen making a mistake, if anything. Because Cezanna's gap to Alzagari mainly staying the same.
Yeah, that move right there, if you're going to make that move, you have to pull away from him. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. And he just put on a really good run. And as you see, there's that gap. If Aberdeen is just out of the slipstream. Aberdeen, Schnabel, Rosenkrantz, and Carl Winkler back into the picture a little bit. We'll see if Rosenkrantz can try to make some moves around these guys. He's going to, there we go, big battle.
Oh, 3 wide. That is
Scary.
How did that work? Rosenkrantz with just the most unnecessary move I think I've seen in my life, trying to pass 2 Alcantech drivers on a narrow circuit. But I mean, I think Schnabel there just did an amazing job to turn out of the corner and allow them all to survive. But I think Rosenkrantz was on the grass going into the corner. Madness. I mean, I feel you can't put this into words. I mean, Rosencrantz gets it stopped, but I mean, man, when he went for that move, that was criminal of him. Criminal of her, Rosencrantz. And they're up to 3rd and 4th at least.
Yeah, Schnabel noticed the move, gave a little bit of room, and I think Aberdeen just like, okay, I'm just going to back out of this because if I try to drive it in there, we're going to have a little carnage. So we race on, Sam. I mean, I think that was a really gutsy move by Rosencrantz, but if you want to get up into that podium, you got to make at least 1 or 2 gutsy moves, starting from that far back.
Now, next one to get past looks like it's going to be Corby. Aberdeen seemingly was, had great qualifying pace, was struggling in the early stages, then seemed to really pick up his pace. And just a couple of laps ago, he was looking strong. Rosencrantz, meanwhile, and this time they had made contact. They kept it pointing in the right way, but Schnabel was squeezing him to the inside. And this is very much turning into a 2-horse race for the race win now, because they are struggling to keep sight of our top 2 drivers. Rosencrantz looking for the dive once again, and Schnabel not wanting to give it to him.
Yep, pretty much the exact same move, and Schnabel gave some room. It's such a tough corner to make the pass there, Sam. So at the end of the day, they all lost in that situation because, like you said, 1st and 2nd had pulled away. Expect pit stop soon, though, almost to the halfway point.
Yeah, I mean, you got a question. If Rosencrantz, for example, had pitted 3 laps ago, he would have surely saved 3 seconds, right? Like, he's been battling so much. I think it would be wise. We're nearly at the halfway stage of the race as well. Track bubbling in a little bit, so that will maybe improve the tyres a bit. But it's brilliant to see such a small amount of field spread. I mean, you can see the snake of these cars go back all the way to about SDK Gaming. He's only 13 seconds off the lead. This is by far the most competitive round of the championship so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're Schnabel here, maybe you try to pit now, and hopefully Rosencrantz pits like 4 or 5 laps later, because he's probably like, okay, please stop throwing it in the corner. We're just losing time. So, but Rosencrantz is very good in the last couple sectors. So he just set the fastest sector 5 a lap ago.
Alacon is into the pits. He wasn't really in traffic, Alacon. He was still a bit detached from the back of Paluch, but wanted to do something different. Looked so good. Honestly, was probably the favourite for the race win just 6 laps ago, but made a mistake through Dunlop, and ever since then he's been playing catch-up against his rivals. And so he comes into the pits, takes some new tyres, and he shouldn't have much traffic. Maybe Richard Boberg to overtake, but that'll be it.
Yeah, we'll see where he comes out. So to give a good eye on when other drivers are going to pit. But yeah, Rosencrantz, and then there's Carl Winkler, who's up into the top 5, down 2 spots, starting to recoup a little bit. Impressive run for Rosencrantz in front of him, up 14 positions. Usually qualifying is very important, Sam, but this might be an asterisk when you're that fast.
The gap between the top 2 coming down as we go now only 1.4 seconds clear of Marco Cesana. Seems consistently through Spoon that Alzagari loses a bit of time, but on these straights it seems like Alzagari maybe running a little bit less drag. That seems to be where he can pull away. Rosencrantz, meanwhile, not really anywhere to go, but you can pretty much bet your house that he's going to go for the move into the classic triangle. Schnabel covers it off, but it's a wide line. He's going to be slow on corner exit. Now who's going to come into the pits? Neither of them come into the pits, and this battle is going to continue for another lap. Aberdeen probably does the wise thing, comes into the pits. He doesn't want to have a front row view of this fight. Rosencrantz will have a chance into the first corners again. Schnabel covers it off, and behind them Carl Winkler is now sat on the German's gearbox, but this is not helping either.
Yeah, they're just starting to fall back. So Aberdeen was with that group. They're 5 seconds back. He's coming out of the pits now. So you're talking about 25 seconds-ish for what it could cost to come down and pit, take your tires. So keep that in mind. So if you're the lead car, here's Alicon, who's already pitted.
Yeah, Alicon's made a mistake on this lap. He's actually had a spin. Might get a replay of that. But that is, he's lost about 8 seconds as Alicon. He would have been around Aberdeen if it weren't for that mistake. But yeah, he's made a second spin of this race. Tough times for the man who has had a first and a second so far this season. It was through Spoon. I wonder if it's going to be the curb on the outside of the first pass. It is. Not the first, not the last.
You've called this track a couple times, haven't you?
Meanwhile, I think there was a change of position, but now that I look at the screen, doesn't look like anything has changed, so no, actually Rosenkrantz did momentarily get ahead, but Schnabel's been able to come back. Here's a replay. Oh, it's just a connection thing. Nothing happened.
Oh, his car just went flying in the air because of a connection failure, and he just went off. Not sure what happened there with Schnabel.
He was very close to Rosenkrantz going into turn 1. Oh no. That looks very over-ambitious there from Rosenkrantz, and not for the first time tonight.
It did look like going into that, the first right-hander, Schnabel did slow up a little bit, I think, from that poor edge, hitting that curb. And yeah.
Alzugari only a tenth of a second clear now of Cesana. You would think one of these guys is gonna pit, but I mean, frankly, I've been calling the drivers to come into the pits for the last 10 laps, and they haven't been doing so. But this seems like a waste of time for them to start battling when one of them, and probably it's Cesana, could come into the pits and get track position that method. Neither of them using the overtake at the moment. Cesana's going to go to the outside into the Casio triangle. Alzugari covers it off. Now, do either of them swing right here? And it is our leader,
Box
Alzugari, into the pits. And I think that was a smart decision. One of them had to come into the pits, and Alzugari decided to take it.
He'll probably come out in around the 11th position or so after the pit stop. Schnabel comes in the pits. Smart move for him. So, Moeller in the pits. Now, if you're Marco here, you have to put down the fastest laps you can right now with the clean air before you pit out lap.
Oh no! Schnabel's overshot it by miles. That wasn't even close. Man, that could be costly for Schnabel. He'd already been a bit detached from the pack, but even more so now. He's barely ahead of Alicon. He's behind Alicon. And Alicon has had 2 spins in this race. Schnabel's just had the 1. And so these two, ironically, after trials and tribulations, they're not fighting for 2nd and 3rd anymore. They're fighting for 11th and 12th, but they are back on circuit with one another.
Yeah, Rosenkrantz 4.3 seconds back of the leader of the racetrack. Still has to pit. Your leader of drivers who have pitted is Alzugari. He is currently in the 8th position, so everybody in front of him have to pit, as you see on your screen, and so does Boberg needs to pit. So, and like we said earlier, about 25 seconds or so is about what it takes to come in when you have a pit stop and don't overshoot your box. So, yeah, so top 7 and 9th position needs to make a pit stop, and so does Jay Walsh.
We have genuinely seen, at least at Aragon, it looked like the times were quite slow on your first lap out to the pits. And so I think if Cesana's going to want to keep track position, his best bet is probably to pit on this lap, go 2 laps further. And so whilst his rivals are trying to get their tyres up to temperature, he's got nice hot tyres and he should be able to keep track position. That's my logic, at least. At the same time, I could honestly see one of these guys going to lap 33 and then pitting with 1 lap to go. I don't think anyone's pushed it that far so far this season, but from what they're talking about the tyres, I think it would be very possible.
Yeah, I think that could happen here, Sam, because, you know, like we've seen in the last couple rounds, you come in pit, you get those cold tires, and we see them spin out quite often sometimes, just because they're so used to having those warm tires. So maybe one of these top 4 will end up staying out a little bit longer and coming in late. Here comes Alicon.
That was a move on Veya, just as Veya came out of the pits. Veya's going to be, I think, P6 when all the pit stops are sorted out with the issues for Schnabel and co. He's going to be right up there. Maybe not that high. No, I think it would be top 6. Yeah, P6 for Veya. I think coming up. Well, drive on the Geeks Energy Sim Racing driver. New driver to that team, at least when it comes to ARA. We haven't seen him in the past. And performing very well is the Maltese driver. However, with those new tyres, you can see how much time he's lost now to Alicon. He's dropped into the clutches of Schnabel. As Edward Pop, who has not had a particularly good round so far, was running in the podium places, at least out of the AMs. He's made a mistake at Degner 1.
Yeah, he had a really good run last week and was trying to carry that momentum in. Just, gets a little bit out on the curbs, and you got to be so careful here at Suzuka with those curbs with the Super Formula car. One thing I want to point out, Carl Winkler, fastest lap of the session, just set 2 laps ago. So they got a lot of pace, Sam. As you see, there's Kevin Kilman in the pits. So top 3 still need to pit. And like we said, it's about 25 seconds or so. So Al Zagari really needs to start putting on some good laps to try to catch up a little bit. So there's Kittleman in the pits coming out.
That's under a lot of pressure from Aberdeen. As Schnabel does get past Veya, that is sort of a move that we're anticipating. Grosseto, who we haven't really talked about a whole lot so far, he had to pit back on lap 1, but he can go to the end of the race. So this is now the battle between Veya and Grosseto. I believe for P6, apologies, for P7 overall, it will turn into that once all the pit stops are complete. But also the lead out of the amateur drivers, so a lot at stake.
Cezanne, fastest sector 2 of the race, so he's doing what he's got to do, keep pulling away. But this battle here for a second position in the AM division, and Grosseto is right there on Dean, trying to find a spot to make a pass. Aberdeen comes into the pits too. Rosenkrantz pitting.
It seemed pretty tight to slow the car down. He was on the blocking the brakes quite a bit. No one's got a speeding penalty so far in this race.
El Zagari, fastest sector 5.
That's what he needs.
He needs to get going, because
well, this could be tight between Rosenkrantz and Alzagari, because Rosenkrantz went longer. Now Alzagari's still got the position, to be fair, so that's good news for him.
So yeah, Al Zagari is in a good spot. He's ahead of Rosenkrantz enough so the slipstream won't matter. He just has to put his head down and run some very fast laps. As you know, we're on 22 at 34. He's waiting for Cezanne to the pit. The fastest lap of the day, Al Zagari just set it, 1:36.
I wonder if Cezanne's waited a bit too long here. I think a couple of laps ago he would have been clear, but we sort of saw this as well. It may have even been between, I think it may have been Cezanne and I don't think it was Alzagari. I think it was Alicon. I think it was Cezanne and Alicon last time. And I think it was Cezanne. He maybe left it a little bit too late to come into the pits. He likes to go long. I think pit this lap, because his gap is coming down right now and he wants to keep track position. Does he come in? No, he's going to push out another one.
I think you stay out here. I think you've already made your bed. You might as well lay in it. I think you stay out with almost a 28-second gap. If you come out with 2 seconds, and I would rather just have warm tires for about 30-ish laps and then have cold tires for just a couple, and instead of trying to get them to heat up, because the times are going to be very similar to what they run. They're running faster now because of the low fuel. So if I'm Cezanne, I'm staying out till the last couple laps.
Thanks to Apex Racing Academy for sponsoring this broadcast and sponsoring this series as well. Of course, Apex Racing Academy providing data packs and track guides for this Super Formula car, along with many others on iRacing, including touring cars, rallycross cars, GTs, prototypes, and setups and track guides designed by some of the best drivers on the sim. So do check out apexracingac.com for more details.
Yeah, if you want one of the best apps on the for sim racing, the Setup Sync app that Apex Racing Academy provides to you is amazing. You hop in the car, load the app, and it starts downloading setups. It's the easiest way to load a setup without having to really go looking. So it's a great software. I use it every day.
Nice bouts of that could be brewing, and this is really going away from probably what looks like it's going to be entertaining. But I'm just seeing Bobug being caught by Kitzelman, and Edward Pop as well, after his spin earlier on, has got decent pace. So do watch out for that battle between 13th, 14th, 15th. There's a link to the live timing in the description below. If you click on that, then you can see what is going on out on circuit. There are battles all over the place, and whilst the front, it doesn't look so close right now, trust me, it is. It is a furious battle between Cezanne and Alzigari, with the likes of Rosenkrantz and Palic still with a chance at winning this race. Here comes Grosseto. This is for the amateur race lead. He's been waiting for this move on Vea for quite a while. Vea is going to leave a bit of space to his Italian rival. Grosseto cannot get the power down, and he has to back out.
Yeah, Winkler and Cezanne need a pit. I think if, whenever Carl Winkler comes in the pit, he's probably going to end up around 4th. He's only going to lose a couple spots. Big move by Grosseto. Big checkup, though, on the outside there by Dean there. So a good move by both those drivers to maintain some speed. Talking about speed, Cezanne, fastest lap of the session.
Yeah, that's impressive from Cezanne. Now 0.3 of a second faster than Alzigari on that last time round. The gap's up to 28.3 seconds. And so we're thinking, yeah, 27 seconds, I think, for a pit stop. Well, I think you said earlier on how long a pit stop was, actually.
25, 26 seconds.
Oh, 25, okay.
Depends if there's 2 things you can do. Well, 3. Here he comes. Here he comes. You can either speed, pull a Larson, hit the tires, or overshoot your pit box. So he didn't pull a Larson. It doesn't look like he's sped. Now he's got to get a good stop.
It's a strangely kind of built circuit, this, with the bumpy pit lane. Not quite as bad as Snetterton. Wasn't absolutely convicted on the brakes for the pit box, but I don't think he needed to be. And now he is back underway. Just 7 seconds stationing for Cezanne. And this is the lead for him. He is clear of Alzigari. It might be a couple of rough laps for him, but he's built up a nice gap. It's just short of 3 seconds, his lead.
Yeah, he needs to be very careful here. You want to maintain pace, but you have to make sure you don't burn your stuff up and don't over-rotate the car. You want that car to be rotating and motivating when it gets a couple laps in with the warm tires.
Already he's lost half a second on this lap since coming out of the pit lane. Now up to 0.7 of a second. If Alzigari can get into the slipstream, then he's going to have a chance. And you're absolutely right, Rosenkrantz is rapid. He's just gained 0.3 on Alzigari. Our top 3, in reality, we're not including Winkler. Our top 3 separated by 3 seconds.
I think if Cezanne and Alzigari and Rosenkrantz start battling, and Carl Winkler stays out a little bit, he could be in a position to try to get to the podium, because if he comes down in pits right now, he's only going to lose a couple spots and move down to 4th place. So Aberdeen in the pits, I'm not sure what happened there.
Oh, yeah, I think that's him out of the race potentially. Hopefully it's just a connection thing for Aberdeen, and he'll pop back in as Winkler comes into the pits. He's the last man on track to come in. I think this will be tight between him and Palic. No, he should be clear of Palic, actually. 28 seconds. So yeah, he'll have a couple of seconds spare to his teammate.
Cezanne had just a couple second gap, so there you go. Great exit out of the corner for him, and no one's using the boost so far between these top 3. So here comes Winkler out of the pits, comfortably in 4th. But like we said, you have the cold tires. You have to be super cautious when you're going around the track. As you see back into 4th place, we've seen drivers make the error of having the cold tires and over-rotate the car. So still setting good run for him. 4th. I mean, he's down a spot from where he started, but anytime you're in the top 5 here, it's always a good run.
And Dean Vea's got back ahead of Fabio Grosseto. Grosseto has spun. Gussetto is round. And that is a massive shame for Fabio Gussetto. He was looking to get his championship back on track. The Scania Motorsport driver had a qualifying ban for tonight after misdemeanors in the previous few rounds. And this is what happened to him. I think this is going to be a self-mistake. I don't think Vea was really close enough. Okay, so he's already gone wide, and then he tries to apply the throttle and spins.
Yeah, super difficult with these cars. Speaking of just going with speed, Rosenkrantz, last lap, the fastest of the session, so he's starting to catch up to Alzagari, and I think that's what Cezanne really wants to see, those two drivers start battling, because we've seen Rosenkrantz make very aggressive moves, and with still time to go, he's an opportunity to make some good moves for him, so Alzagari really needs to put the head down and start to pull away.
That time from Rosenkrantz, 36.44. I mean, these are times from Rosenkrantz that no one's really come close to. Like 36.7 is the next best time by Palic. But Rosenkrantz's last time was half a second faster than anything that Cezanne and Alzagari have done. Scary quick. And Rosenkrantz started from 18. He wasn't far away from winning at Motegi from last, but he started from the pits on that occasion. This time at least he was starting on the grid. And he's now just 1.7 seconds from the lead. But the laps are ticking down. We've got another 7 to go after this.
Yeah, just a short distance to the end. Rosenkrantz up into plus 15. Trying to catch up to Alzagari here.
Kittelman has caught Boberg, by the way, for 13th place. There might be a move fairly soon between those two.
A lot of purple sectors for Alzagari and Rosenkrantz here. And speaking of purple sectors, Aberdeen putting some purple sectors down. Alzagari starting to catch up Cezanne.
Yeah, using the overtake on the back straight a bit was Alzagari. And he's using it again. I don't think he even turned it off. He's just used this overtake. That's going to be about, well, probably 25 seconds of it burned. They get 200 seconds of it across the race. At Aragon last time out, we saw some of the top drivers use it for a lap at the end of the race. So they basically had half of their overtake spare going into the closing stages. That could be the difference there. If Cezanne has got, say, 80 seconds less boost than what Alzagari has, well, Alzagari should comfortably be able to overtake. And that gap is continuing to come down. Purple first sector for Alzagari, a 14. I think that's the first 14 for first sector we've had so far today.
Yeah, 0.4 of a second quicker was Alzagari the last lap over Cezanne. I will say we had 1/14 sector 1. And that was Schnabel with a 14.99. Barely into the 14s, but Alzagari used that the boost a lot that lap. He was catching up, and now he's starting to Cezanne is starting to pull away a little bit. And here comes Rosenkrantz. This could get interesting.
No boost for Alzagari at the moment. He's got no option to use the boost. He should get it back enabled at about turn 1. Rosenkrantz has gone for similar moves from this far back into Casio Triangle, but he's not going to try to do it this time. Now just 1.3 seconds separating the top 3 drivers. It's looking good for Rosenkrantz. Surely he's got to use the boost right now. And he's going to have a terrific run at it. Here he goes for the lead. No boost being used, but this will be enough to take the 2nd place. And Rosenkrantz is in the runners-up spot. He's got 1.4 seconds to catch up to Cezanne.
Great job by both drivers. Alzagari realized that he wasn't going to be able to hold it into the first corner, so he just kind of gave it up and lived the battle for another 5 more laps. So this is the thing to keep an eye on. Rosenkrantz, he's showed so much speed throughout the race. It's 1.5 seconds to first, so he really needs to start putting on some pace to catch up. And I think, like you said earlier, how much boost are they going to have at the end?
By the way, Kevin Kittelman was able to make that move on Ricard Boberg. He's up to 13th place now overall for Indy Autosports, ahead of No Limit Sim Racing Academy. Not going to catch up to Grosseto after his spin earlier on in the race. Grosseto with a very lonely P12, unless his tyres really fall off, but I think they should be alright. He's not lapping too slow at the moment. Another shout out, by the way, to Virtual Racing School, another sponsor for this series. VRS, of course, providing their fantastic software to get you better on iRacing, but also provide their own hardware with their wheelbase, their wheel rim, and their pedals. And also will be coming soon is their rig as well, so do keep tuned on the VRS social medias for that. If you want to get any of those products, do visit vrs.racing or apexracingsim.com to get yourself, not just faster on iRacing through driver tuition, but also some faster equipment as well. Susanna up 4 places, as you can see, but that doesn't tell the whole story. The man was down to 8th after half a lap. He basically starts in 8th place and yet leads this event 1.4 seconds. The gap, Rosenkrantz whistling it down very slightly right now.
Yeah, Susanna, this race has been a nutrition for him to, like you said, fall back to 8th place, but when the time was needed to be perfect, he has been. He needs to be perfect for a few more laps with, lap 30 or 34, because you got a driver like Rosenkrantz in your mirror, you know he's fast, but you have to just look forward and not worry about the drivers behind you. So he's got to maintain his good pace, be perfect all the way through, gap 1.4 seconds, and growing a little bit at this moment.
Yeah, it's sort of ebbing and flowing as the lap goes on. Rosenkrantz was definitely faster in the first sector. Winkler now with a 14.8 for the first sector. These first sector times in particular, that's basically turn 1, really are improving. The drivers just getting faster and faster. Susanna and Rosenkrantz pushing each other to the limits, as are pretty much the entirety of the top 8. Any of the positions in the top 8 could change, honestly. No one has a comfortable gap over each other. The gap now down to 1 second. Not a fantastic exit for Rosenkrantz, and Susanna's just got 4 more laps to survive here at Suzuka. A little bit of traffic ahead. That's Jay Walsh, about 100 meters up the road.
Yeah, not, like you said, not the best exit for Rosenkrantz there, but fastest lap of the session and his fastest sector 6. So even with that poor exit, he had still the fastest lap of the race so far. But Susanna, the gap is still hovering about that 1.2 second gap. So I mean, it's not like it's pretty much been stable. But we'll have to see when it gets a little bit closer to the end of the race in a couple laps time, how much boost they have left, because they're going to try and save it towards the end of the race, towards the last lap or two. We've seen it last week. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it again tonight.
I think so. I think what you want to do is be able to have enough boost to be able to push it now, because coming out of that hairpin, that's going to help your acceleration. This is a decently long flat out section over to Spoon, and then you got the long back straight, and then you want to have the power coming out of the chicane as well. If Susanna's got the boost for enough boost for that, then he should be good. But I think you're right. I think they're actually going to have enough boost for much longer than that, because you haven't been seeing them use it too much. Jay Walsh is trying to use it. He's trying to pull away seemingly from these other guys. Hopefully he will pull to one side in a moment's time and let these top 2 battle as if he wasn't there.
He probably wanted to wait, use the boost so he get to the front straight, so he's not in a tight section of the track. He's going to give up that go a lap down, and there's nothing wrong with finishing a lap down. I usually finish 3 or 4, so it's not a bad thing to finish not on the lead lap.
1.2. What a lap from Susanna, a 36.17. The guy is lapping 0.7 of a second faster than he was 10 minutes ago. He really has upped it. And this is the best showing we've seen all day. I mean, this would be a good enough for pole position, I believe. They are absolutely storming around this Suzuka circuit. And from Rosenkrantz looking like he was going to catch, well, being an inevitability, actually, Susanna might have enough to hold on. The gap is increasing on this lap as well. It's up to 1.4. That's the largest it's been since lap 29.
Yeah, it helps having that, the low fuel load to get these fast times. But I've also said it's always a big deal when you get to the later portion of the track or of the race. You start to know the track a little better. You know your car better, so you should know where you can push it and where you can't. So Cezanna just putting on a really good run here and starting to shrink a little bit as you see Rosenkrantz was using the boost there to try to catch back up. 32 of 34. This could be 2 laps left as they cross the start-finish line.
Hopefully everyone who's tuned in has enjoyed this one. It's been definitely the best race of the season. Motegi actually was very good, to be fair. I think this one just about proves it. We were hoping that it would be good, and it really has been. And there's been some very memorable moments. We could have a memorable finish. We go down to 0.6 of a second now, the gap. And another purple first sector for Rosenkrantz. I think he was using a lot of the boost. So maybe he's drained that, and he's still using the boost. I wonder if Rosenkrantz hasn't used any boost in this race, and he's just going to use it for the last 3 laps.
Yeah, 200 seconds is what you have, so they're a minute 36-ish lap time. So
it's 2 and a bit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's close. I think. I don't know. Oh, yeah, time left.
Oh wow, he's got so
left.
much. He's got so much. He can go to the ends. Well, how it's a question of when can Cezanna turn on his boost?
You got to keep it on all the way now, because if you disengage that boost, you won't be able to use it for the rest of the race. So I mean,
right.
He already made his bed. We'll see if he can get to a 35 purple sector 1 on that the last time around, but let's see if he can get it. He's starting to catch up.
Okay, here comes Cezanna. Cezanna's got his use now as well. I wonder if we could get his on board as well. See if he's got enough to get to the end of the race. I'm almost certain he does.
Oh.
Yeah, he's got. I mean, he's not going to use it all. I don't know why he hasn't deployed that about half a minute ago, but he's got loads to use. Yeah, you know what?
Perfect timing for him.
Yeah, he will have about 10 seconds to spare. So I think they've both about nailed it. Rosenkrantz will run out just before the Casio triangle on the last lap, but it should get him in range at least. The gap's down to 0.7.
Both drivers in the 135s on the final time, going through the S's, trying to make what you can. Both guys have the boost on. Man, here comes Rosenkrantz in the tow. It's so tough, especially when you're got some of that dirty air, but Cezanna starting to pull away a little bit. Big move by Rosenkrantz there, catches up a little bit, but kind of lost a little bit of exit from above his eyes right now. Into 10 and 11.
I mean, surely it's got to be a mistake here from Cezanna, because he just isn't going down the gap, Rosenkrantz. Maybe he's overheated tyres. I think, frankly, it's just a brilliant drive from Marco Cezanna, who has elevated himself to levels that he maybe didn't even realise he had himself, because the pressure he has been under ever since that pit stop 10 laps ago has been immense, and yet he has not put a foot wrong this entire time. Rosenkrantz is out. He has got no more boost to give. Cezanna, with 1 corner to go, he will be our 3rd different race winner in 4 rounds. And for Epoch Motorsport, the man who was down in 8th place on lap 1 takes his first ever Apex Racing League victory. And in what fashion he achieved it. Rosenkrantz in 2nd place, Alzugare in 3rd. It'll be close between Alicon and Aberdeen. Aberdeen has been closing in recently. He's got a bit more boost at the end, but it wasn't enough to overtake. The only other move might be from Mola and Grosseto. I think Mola just recently making that move. I think there might be a change of position between the 2 of them. No, he's gone wide. Grosseto will easily take that one. Mola drops back down to 12. But what a drive from Marco Cezanna.
Oh, absolutely. When the pressure was on with the driver behind you, Rosenkrantz, who's put on a lot of speed, a very aggressive driver too. When the time needed to put on that boost and to pull away and run perfect, he did, and he took home the win. And what a huge momentum boost this will be when you fall back to 8th place in such a competitive field like we see every time the Super Formula cars come out in the Apex Racing League. To move your way from 8th to 1st, that's just a tremendous drive for him. And I'm excited to hear from him.
Yeah, I don't think we've had a chat with Cesana this season, have we? So
I don't think we have.
yeah, hopefully we have a chat with him. If he doesn't have a chat with us after that, then I don't think he ever will, because he will be full of emotion and not embarrassed whatsoever, even if he is usually self-conscious about his voice. Cesana with the race win, half a second ahead of Rennsport. So he really pulled away from Alzagari. Remember, Alzagari was the leader at the halfway stage, but he didn't have the pace to keep up. Winkler and Palic in a little bit of a quiet 4th and 5th, but a very successful 4th and 5th for course sim racing. Alicon held off Aberdeen. Schnabel will be furious. I mean, Rosenkrantz finished 2nd place there. Honestly, you feel like there could well be a penalty. There might be some changes. Schnabel was the victim of that contact. His worst result of the season. Avea wins out of the amateurs. He led pretty much the entire way. It's a very well-deserved victory for him. Cabral ran him close. Grosseto had a spin which denied him any chance. He was at least able to get past Mola on the last lap. Kitzelman was in 13th place. Then it was Boberg Pop who had a spin. Walsh, and then the retirees Platz, Mar, I think Lofaro, and Arroyo. Swamster unfortunately couldn't take the starts because he had PC issues. So we got a choice to have a chat with a couple of drivers. I'll let you have first dibs, I think. AB, who would you like to have a chat with?
Well, I think let's take a look at who we can bring in. Both the guys have the mics muted at the moment, so I tell you what though, Sam, I always want to put a quick comment in, and what a drive for a lot of these drivers, a lot of aggression. I think we should bring in though Cabral just for a good run. Here you go, Sam.
Here he is. Cesar, can you hear us all right?
Yes, I can.
Excellent stuff. Yeah, how was that one? Really good effort from you. You seem to pretty much stay error-free the entire race, and a very strong P10.
Yeah, actually, I don't know what's happened in the pits. Many guys went in front of me. I was expecting a little bit, be a little bit in front. But in general was good. For my class, I finished 2nd, I guess. Then went, so it was pretty good. Really tough race, really tough championship so far. I had really big incidents in the first 3 races, and now I can manage just be calm, relax, and have fun because I love this track so much. And it's got this perfect combination. It's like the lasagna and bolognese,
It seemed like you yourself and many others just seemed to really like this circuit. Like the gap to the lead was only 28 seconds, which is really close from 1st down to 10th. Usually that's sort of the gap between like 1st and 5th. Is there something about this circuit which just makes this car easier to drive, or do you think it's just that everyone knows the circuit so well?
It's not easy to drive at all. It's a big challenge to be here, and it's kind of a big pleasure, especially in the S's. It's a track that demands you so much skill, so much enjoy the speed, and you find the limit of the car, so you can explore, and go try a little bit more in one turn, and then you see the limit, but you feel the grip. So it's kind of you have fun risking yourself to die, basically it's this. So this track is so amazing, and yeah, I don't know what to say. Honestly, in my opinion, the best track in the world. I'm sorry for who likes other tracks, but yeah, this is the stuff.
You need to come up here more often, Cesar, because I blabber on about how Suzuka's the best circuit in the world every single round that we visit here, and it really annoys people. But I'm glad that I got some backing up from yourself for that claim. When you look ahead to the rest of the season, who do you think is going to be your biggest rival in the amateur championship? Do you think it's going to be Dean Veyer, who won tonight, or do you think maybe someone like Grosseto is gonna run you tight?
Yeah, I think the Edward Pop will be improving. He's really fast. I raced against him, and Formula 3 was not that good in that championship. But I really believe that Edward Pop can really catching up fast. So, and the Vela also, I guess, is a really good challenge. So the top three are really strong. So will be fun, and we're gonna have a good battle until the last race. I hope I'm still in the top, so I will fight for this.
Definitely, yeah, you're certainly still at the top of the championship, and I hope that continues for many more rounds. Cesar, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah. I just would like to say thank you for everyone. Thanks for this amazing broadcast, and also for the team, for the guys that support us, our sponsors, comidadodia.com, and Significar too. And also, can I just do a small advertising about our Instagram, about
Yeah,
the
sure.
team? Yeah, so please guys follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/race2esports. So hope to see you there.
Nice one. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Cesar, and best of luck next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Cesar Cabral there, a really good drive from himself in 10th place, only 3.5 seconds short of the amateur race victory. We might be able to have a chat with Avery. Would you like to have a chat with Marco?
I will gladly have a chat with Marco. Hey Marco, it's everybody here in the Apex Racing TV booth. Congratulations on your win. We fell from 8th place. Can you kind of tell us a little bit how the race went for you?
Hi, thank you for the congratulations. But it was a great race. I made a mistake on the qualifying lap, but in the race I didn't get off to a perfect start. I had to make up a few positions in the first, second lap. Then I managed the pace very good, and I made a great race. Chris was really fast in the last lap, but I had a bit of push to pass, and no problem to close the race on 4th position.
Yeah, just a tremendous effort from you. The pressure was on from Chris behind you, like you said, and you just maintained a good lap. We really enjoyed watching you so far this season. We can't wait to watch the rest of the season. But is there anybody you'd like to thank for supporting you?
Well, thanks to my team, Epoch, and all my friends.
It's always good to have some great support, a good support system on any sim racing, but especially here with Apex Racing League. We look forward to seeing you next week, Marco. Congrats on the win again.
Thank you.
Great run for him to Sam just to pull away, and man, he just showed so much pace towards the end of the race.
Yeah, really impressive from Susanna. Only a matter of time, so it was gonna get there, and yeah, he's been able to do it. Let's next have a chat with probably the most unhappy man on the grid, Lennart Schnabel. Lennart, I mean, what bad luck? What bad luck tonight? Two main incidents. Let's talk about the first one. I think cat-like reflexes come to mind. Well done on avoiding the spinning Alicon ahead of you.
Well, I'm trying my best not to hit anyone. I wish I could say the same about everyone, but I don't want to go further in this topic. Well, I was lucky to not hit him. He was spinning very fast and going to the outside very fast as well. So I just went for the gravel. I don't think I could done anything different there, except for hitting him. But yeah, was some bad luck throughout the whole race. Wasn't really happy with the setup. This whole week struggled quite a bit with understeer and oversteer in some corners. So I mean, we ended up in the top 10, scored some points. That's what matters in the long run. I hope we don't have as much as bad luck as today, but you'll never know. We still got a drop round, so I'm still fine.
Exactly. The rounds that are counting for you, I think, are first, a second, and a third. So no one's got better than that. So you're still going to be top of the championship even after tonight. Next week we've got Silverstone, another GP circuit. Is that one that you like? It divides opinion on.
I like it. Yes. Well, I liked it in the F3. I've never done it in the Super Formula, but it always suited me in the F3. So I assume it's still a track where I can show what I got. And hopefully I can bring something on the table again. I got a week off from work, so we have a little bit more time to practice, and that will definitely be used, especially after today. We need to up the points a little bit, and yeah, just hope that it's gonna be better as to, like, today. Only thing that went really good today was first 12 laps. We showed we had pace. Great start as well. Yeah, shout out to my team, to Lee. He did a mega job. Just want to point that out. He had some connection issues, losing time for whatever reason, and he still managed to keep the pace up. And I think that's a well-deserved 7th place for him.
Yeah, Lee looked very quick in parts, like that sort of period from about lap 4 to lap 10. He was really good, then seemed to fall away. But yeah, that second stint, again, he was really closing up to Marcus very quickly. So yeah, I'm sure he'll be dangerous in the next few rounds. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, Leonard?
Yeah, shout out to the whole team, to our sponsors, to my family, especially to my brother. It's his birthday today, and yeah, shout out to you. Thank you for the stream. I'll give it a go tomorrow.
Nice one. Well, hopefully it's not too frustrating to watch back. Then I'm sure there's going to be many more podiums for the rest of the season. Hopefully one next week. We'll see if you can do it in 7 days' time.
I hope so. Yeah.
Nice one. See you next time.
Yeah.
Lennart Schnabel there, your 8th place finisher. Only 15.7 seconds off the lead, which most of the time would be good enough for P4, maybe even a podium. But tonight, so close between the top guys, it wasn't meant to be for Lennart. Avery, I mentioned it before, but we have got, for the next round, Silverstone coming up. I think that will be a good car track combo. I'm not a big fan of the new Silverstone when it comes to really anything bar big single seaters, because it's designed for Formula 1, being so wide and the corners being how they are. However, these cars actually fit on that ginormous circuit.
Yeah, another track that's meant for the single seaters, like you said. I'm actually a big fan of the new Silverstone circuit, so I'm really looking forward to it. I drove Suzuka a lot this last week. I'm gonna do the same thing with Silverstone. So if it's gonna be anything like we've seen the last 4 rounds, it's gonna be another fantastic race. Same place, same time. So it's gonna be really excited to see how maybe the drivers who had bad luck tonight fare out 7 weeks and 7 days. So I mean, really looking forward to this one.
Definitely. Looking forward to it. I won't be here, unfortunately, but yeah, I'll probably be watching it along to see what happens out on circuit. Looking forward to it. So that is pretty much all it for us tonight. Thanks to VRS, to SDK Gaming, and to Apex Racing Academy for sponsoring this series. Of course, if you fancy taking part yourself, do go to apexracingleague.com, where you can also sign up to our new Porsche Cup League as well. If you've enjoyed this video, please do leave a like on it. We'll be posting plenty of social moments from this race, because there were plenty of good highlights on our social media channels. That's on Apex Racing League and Apex Racing TV on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. But for now, we will say goodbye, and we will see you back in a week's time at Silverstone in the Apex Racing Academy Super Formula. See you then.